How do you know? Well, you might know something that needs to change, but you just can't bring yourself to act on it. You might feel like something just isn't right, but you keep ignoring it. You might want something very different for your life, but you keep choosing the familiar because what you know is safe, predictable, dependable, but not in line with what you desire. Hi, my friend. Welcome to the Bounce Back Black Woman podcast. I'm Dell, and I've overcome some of the most devastating heartbreaks I could ever have imagined. Do you find yourself stuck in sadness after a broken heart, asking God, why me? Well, I'm here to help women just like you heal and build the resilience to overcome life's greatest hurts. If you long for joy and confidence again, this podcast is for you. So grab your headphones and those heartbreaks. Let's talk. Hey there, my friend, and welcome back to Bounce Back Black Woman. How are you? I asked that today on purpose because we're all dealing with a lot right now. In the world, in our country, if you're listening in the United States, in our personal lives, relationships, finances, careers, all of the things. It seems like every day there's one thing after another, and we are on emotional overload sometimes. So I wanted to start this episode out by asking you and challenging you to sit for a moment and ask that question. How am I really? I know for me, I've been going through a lot of unexpected financial disruptions in my life. You know how it goes. When it rains, it pours, right? You take 2 steps forward, and then all of a sudden you've got to take a step backward. And that can have its own challenges. I've learned to limit my news intake because it seems like every 5 minutes there's breaking news, especially here in the US. And usually that doesn't mean good things. So I just wanted to open this episode by encouraging all of you, along with me, to care for yourselves, to give yourselves grace and kindness and love and quiet. Because tuning out the world is essential sometimes. I know that we can't stay there, but we need to do that so that we don't get overloaded. So if you've been listening for the past few episodes, you know that we've been talking about what it feels like when something just isn't quite right. Maybe you're feeling drained or overthinking everything. Maybe it's that quiet sense that your life looks fine to everyone else, but it feels off to you. And so today I want to take that one step further. Because what if I said to you that that feeling is not random? And that feeling is not something to ignore. That feeling is often a sign that something in your life and your body and your spirit and your soul is out of alignment. We don't talk about alignment a lot, and so that's why I wanted to focus on it today. There was a time in my life where everything on the outside looked just like it should be working. I was showing up, I was handling my responsibilities, I was doing all the things that needed to be done. And if someone asked me how I was doing, I would have said, I'm good. But only I knew that I wasn't really good. Something felt off in my mind, in my heart, in my spirit, in my soul. And I remember trying to just push through it, telling myself all the affirmations. You're fine. You've got this. You've got too much to be grateful to feel like this. Just keep going and it'll go away. But you know what? The more that I ignored it, the heavier it felt. And what I eventually had to face was this. I wasn't confused. I wasn't broken. I was out of alignment. You see, there were things in my life that no longer matched who I was in my heart, who I was in my spirit, who I was in my beliefs, or who I was in my behaviors. There were things in my life that no longer matched what I needed to feel safe, to feel cherished, to feel successful, to feel joy. And there were things in my life that no longer matched what I knew to be true for me and my compass and my relationship with God. And until I faced that, admitted it head on, nothing was going to shift. And so let's talk about what that feeling is, because it has a name. What that's called is being out of alignment. And I want to talk about what alignment actually means. You see, alignment is when what you know and or what you feel and or what you do and or what you believe are all working together. But when you're out of alignment, those things are not working together. They are in conflict with one another. How do you know? Well, you might know something that needs to change, but you just can't bring yourself to act on it. You might feel like something just isn't right, but you keep ignoring it. You might want something very different for your life, but you keep choosing the familiar because what you know is safe, predictable, dependable, but not in line with what you desire. And that internal conflict is what creates the feeling of being off. And this is something that I see often in women because we're pretty intuitive creatures. Most of the time, we already know. We know that the relationship isn't right. We know that we've outgrown a situation. We know that the work environment is toxic. We know that something in our lives needs to shift. But you know what we do? We stay in that in-between space where we're aware, but not yet acting. And it is that in-between space where the tension lives. So why does it hurt so much when you're out of alignment? Well, the reason is because living out of alignment is exhausting. And it's not exhausting because of your to-do list, not because life is just hard. It's exhausting because you're constantly going against yourself as God designed you. You're overriding the things that you feel intuitively. You're silencing what you know subconsciously. You're choosing what's comfortable over choosing what's true out of fear. And over time, my friend, that disconnect starts to wear on you. It shows up in a lot of different ways for a lot of different women. Frustration, confusion, forgetfulness, emotional fatigue, unexplained sadness, depression even. And sometimes it's even just that lingering feeling that something just isn't right. But here's what I want you to know. Clarity is not always the problem. Sometimes you already have clarity, but the issue is that you don't trust yourself enough to act on what you already know. Now, here's the part that I want you to really hear, my friend. You don't have to figure everything out at once. You don't have to have the full plan put together from A to Z. Alignment starts with one honest decision. One moment where you stop ignoring what you know and you start responding to it. James 1:22, which reads, "Do not merely listen to the word and so deceive yourselves. do what it says comes to mind. Because there's a difference between knowing and doing. And alignment lives in that space between the two. So here's what I want you to reflect on today when you go to your journal. Where in my life do I already know the truth, but I'm still not acting on it? And then I want you to ask yourself these 3 questions. What am I avoiding? What feels out of alignment right now in my life? What is one small step I can take toward what I know is right for me? Those 3 questions, because you don't need perfect clarity to begin moving forward. You just need ruthless honesty with yourself. And so if these last few episodes have been speaking to you, if you've been feeling drained, overthinking, disconnected, off, I want you to take a few minutes and go take my How Stuck Am I quiz. Awareness is a beautiful thing. And sometimes you can't see the forest for the trees when you're inside of it. So go take the quiz. Because sometimes what you're feeling isn't random. It's something deeper that just needs to be brought into focus more clearly. So how do you take the quiz? You can do it a few ways. I'll link it in the show notes. Or you can go to my website and find a link there, bouncebackblackwoman.com. Or you can go straight to the quiz itself by going to bit.ly, that's bit.ly/howstuckami. And before we close, this is your reminder. We are coming up on episode 100 in our very next episode, and I am wrapping up the giveaway. You'll get entered into the giveaway in a few different ways by taking the quiz. You can enter the giveaway at my website, in the show notes, all of that. But one lucky winner is going to receive a signed copy of my upcoming book entitled Ruthless Intentionality, and 2 others are going to receive fresh off the press Bounce Back Black Woman t-shirts. So if you haven't entered yet, go to bouncebackblackwoman.com and take the How Stuck Are You quiz. Don't forget to screenshot your results, because in episode 100, we're going to bring this full circle and talk about what your results might be telling you. So make sure not to miss that either. And my friend, just know this as we leave for the day. You don't have to stay in that place of misalignment, because it's a bad place to be. There is another way forward, and it starts with being honest about where you are. So until next time, take care of you and all that is you, and we'll see you in the next episode. Well, that's it for today, my friend. I really hope this episode inspired, encouraged, or just plain comforted you. If so, please share it with a friend who might be struggling in her own healing journey. And if you take a moment to leave a quick review on Apple Podcasts, you'll help other women find encouragement through their heartbreak. Remember that God is holding your hand along this journey, and guess what? I'm holding the other. Life is short, so bounce back, Black woman.